I regret to say, Novi, that we are going to the mother of Oregon. We are going to Clubhouse.
The mother of Oregon.
The mother
Clubhouse.
of Oregon. If Oregon is the Cubone, then
this is the Marowak.
Marowak is Clubhouse. Like, yeah, so we're going to go through these bans now real quick. So as you can see, just immediately Chalet and Bank taken off the board, which I'm... You know what? For this matchup as well, Novi, like, a little bit disappointing, because these two teams, especially going on Bank, you know, it's just come into the comp pool again. Realistically, they could do a lot with this. It could be quite entertaining, but obviously it's not all about the entertainment for the players. They want to win. But they are going to go to the safety of Clubhouse. And if you see even towards the end below everyone, like here, they were going to go Oregon or Clubhouse. And ultimately Delta were just like, let's get Oregon out the way and just go to Clubhouse. So these two teams wanting to go to those evenly balanced, it's a level playing field essentially. Then wanting to have those two maps at the end says a lot about how both teams are going into this. They're going to be playing it safe and they're going to be wanting to play it by the book, and they're very, very much going to be trying to beat the living daylights out of each other. So an interesting one indeed.
Yeah, I mean, I can hear the disappointment. I can literally hear the disappointment in your voice about it. But from Delta Project's perspective, they kind of went out on a limb and played Bank last week and got kind of smacked about on it. They didn't look particularly good. Maybe they're just going, all right, you know, into every team we need to play our best. Let's play something we 100% know. Even if everything's going wrong, worst comes to worst, we can still run and gun it. And maybe that, you know, well, for most teams, it's Oregon and Clubhouse are the two maps, and probably Coastline as well, that all, you know, everybody knows. Maybe it's a case of that, just let's not risk anything and just play standard. And because we think we're the better team, we'll come out on top.
Yeah, no, I think that's perfectly a valid point. I think maybe Delta felt they dipped their toe a bit too, you know, you get a bit too eager dipping your toe in and it's a bit too cold for you. And you're like, oh, a bit too cold for me now. I'm going to do a few more stretches on the beach. Maybe this is them doing their stretches on the beach first. They're getting that blood flowing a little bit. Especially as I say, I do think that these two teams together, I think it's going to be a really nice matchup. And what I will say is that, again, when you are going to a more evenly balanced map like Clubhouse or Oregon with these two, I do think that then, yeah, it will come down to more individual play and it will come down to gunfights, because I do predict that both teams will be playing this very standard by the book. I don't think we're going to see anything too outside of the box when it comes to strategy or operator picks or utility placement. I think it's going to be, again, very, very standard. I think it is going to come down to who is going to come out on top when these gunfights kick off. And I'm okay with that, to be honest. I am okay with that because it's going to really show who is bringing the thunder, you know, to tonight. And, you know, I think last week in particular, there are a few underperformances from certain players that I know for a fact that they themselves probably feel very irate about. So I think this is the opportunity to be like, hey, we're going to this even map and I can just show up, gun out, show everyone that, yeah, I am still that queen.
No, I completely agree with you, because last week I'm just looking for it. I think from what I remember, RANDYS, it was Amy Lee popped off, like had an insane performance. The rest of the team was pretty, they had a couple clutch rounds, but otherwise were very quiet. And it was Amy Lee doing a lot of the heavy lifting. So I expect they would want a more even spread, because of course you can't always count on that star player to always be winning every single clutch. It's just not going to happen. And Delta Project, there's a couple players who are, so I remember going, just win the 1v1, please. like, come on, we expect this of you. You need to hit that level.
Yeah.
And it looked, they looked a little bit cold last week, you know, especially in the first few rounds. I'm hoping they come in hot, warmed up, you know, done their stretches, as you said, on the beach, and they can dive straight in and then hit the ground running. Wait, no, we're mixing too many analogies here. Hit the water swimming. There we go. Close enough.
Hit the water swimming. I mean, this is it, right? Because again, you know, there were performances last week on both sides, and sometimes that just happens, especially week one. or to be honest, sometimes it could be for a majority of the season. Think about, last Yukin, Eminem absolutely were, dare I say it, a little bit washed for the entire season. And then at the end finally showed up and pulled it back. Maybe that's what, maybe that's what will happen a little bit here. I don't know. But, only Playday 2, a lot to happen now. And one of these teams is going to win. It's just working out which one it's going to be. There can only be one winner. RANDYS are starting on defense here, though, so they do have a slight advantage. Again, Clubhouse being slightly defender-sided. Thus far, Delta have actually banned out Fachi and Kaid themselves, so they don't want to manipulate these operator bans to benefit them for the first 6 rounds, which is quite interesting. I think that just, again, it's very, that signals to me, Novi, that they want to be very, very safe with this.
One Maestro. Okay, Maestro Hibana, I see you. Okay, Hibana, very strong operator, but there's often other things that kind of prioritize. Maybe the Maverick because of the attic push, and then the frag grenades as well. But the Maestro ban, interesting. Not as strong as he once was. Maybe a little bit off piece. Maybe it's something that RANDYS have spotted, and they're like, "This is something we can exploit." There's plenty of strong defenders that you could have taken, out of contention, but the Maestro, I don't know. I mean, I'm upset because it's one of my favorite operators, but still, I get it. He's strong, but wouldn't a Valk, as we're seeing Lua just switch to, would something like that be a little more impactful? As man, I guess they are starting on defense, so maybe it's just something that they're not going to play, and they just get rid of it and go, that's fine, we weren't going to pick him anyway.
Yeah. I mean, one thing about Lewis sixing onto the Valk, it always tickles me still. You see on Clubhouse people baiting the whole, oh, we're going gym, and then it's like, but we're not really going gym. Let us do a little 6-pick. It's so obvious. It's my favorite thing. You put the castle in and then you think you're going gym every time, ref, every time. But I respect it. It's an oldie but a goldie, as we say. Yeah, I think the Valk's going to be really powerful here, of course, Liz. Again, curious to see how much extension is going to go on in terms of how they're going to hold this. We are seeing Lua go upstairs. So potentially we're going to see a little bit of a top floor hold. Lua kind of teabagging at the drone, letting them know that she is indeed upstairs. So Delta are definitely going to be aware of that, and they're definitely going to be going for a top-down clear here. So yeah, it looks like they're getting shown underway, to be honest. Miss Marie is going to go immediately towards that spar wall, I reckon, to try and take down Lua as fast as possible.
Interesting with the buck as well. I mean, it's an operator that I genuinely haven't seen that much, because usually if you want soft destruction, most people just go for the sledge. You might not have the range on it because you have to get up and close, but you've got the frag grenades. The gun it is pretty decent. It packs a punch, and you can get a nice little ACOG as well. But maybe it's a comfort thing. The one thing I say that does go in Buck's favor, which is, of course, if it unless it's a basement, if you're on the hatch in through kitchen and you want to open up the floor so you can try and deny someone trying to impact it or just put pressure, Buck is amazing at vertically holding through those windows on the rappel. It's very, very specific scenarios where you might use him like that over someone like Sledge. But Miss Marie is instead just using it to try and cause as much damage as possible on the floor and look for these roamers. Actually look, oh wait, this is awesome. I love it. I haven't seen that in a hot minute. That is really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it when people do this, when they really make use of that. The soft destructibility, you can go all 3 floors from the top down to the bottom, and sometimes you can really catch people off guard because they're expecting a much closer face to be peeking at them through the floorboards. And yeah, that can often really, really, especially if you've got a player like Miss Marie, that can often be really, really nice to do. So I'm glad they're doing that. Half the time roughly gone, and they are starting to open up the bar hatches. It's Moto hatch here. Again, I think they're doing okay speed-wise, to be honest. I think they've basically got some nice momentum. They just have to start setting up now to make their way downstairs.
Yeah, and it's not like they've been held off too much by RANDYS. There was a lot of opportunities, I guess, where, maybe a couple of roamers could have caused a few problems. Instead, it was just Delta Project being very clinical about everything, making sure that they follow every single thing on their checklist, but it doesn't even matter because RANDYS Trivath and just goes straight in with that headshot on the P10 Roni. And that's going to cause a few issues. Of course, without Iana, that loses that important information gadget. And with another one going down as well, this could be going pretty disastrously for Delta Project. But 30 seconds left. They can still make an execute.
Oh, looks like they're going for it now. She's going to take down 2. She's going to take down Kareligan and Lua. Tribal's going to trade it back onto Miss Marie, though. A 2 going to start getting stuck there. Maya's going to cause a little bit of a distraction down that main hallway. She is aware of... Oh, there we go. Diffuser has been planted, Novi.
Oh, here we go, but Tribaton follows on with Mia. The frag grenade goes out, finds Amy Lee, but ooh, just gets down, trying to jump through the wall. It would have to be a complete ace. Oh, Shishka unfortunately gets taken down. Delta Project, from a quite sizable disadvantage, manages to pull it back, get the plant down.
And the fact that they got the plant down as well, objective, they were looking very strong until that post plant. And yeah, it was a little bit too close for comfort. I will say as well, like, I think that was probably one of the most rounds thus far on the basis that I think 9 times out of 10, when you know you've got 2 teams like this and you're kind of like, okay, they are going to be very standard, but how standard are they going to go? And it was pretty standard, to be honest, but a very nice type of stabilization. Again, we saw that really nice verticality come through. We saw a full clear to make sure there weren't any hiding roamers that could cause an upset at any point. Yeah, I think it was really, really clean by Delta, considering the fact that they ultimately did lose the round.
Yeah, I think it was nice from Delta with how, yeah, they lost 2 people, but then, you know, the difference between sort of average teams and good teams, that to get that discrepancy, not discrepancy, that improvement, it's when you not only follow the strat, but when things aren't going your way, you don't have the perfect setup. What do you do in that situation? They immediately answer. They're like, okay, we're going to push motor hatch. We're going to get control of the main corridor, and then we can go in for the plant. Like, we can just do this, this, and this, and this. And so they changed that plan on the fly. RANDYS also did the same. I noticed after the post plant, while it was getting planted, they knew the diffuse was going down, but they didn't push because they know that diffusee has to stand up at some point and probably rotate position, and they can capitalize off that. It's really good discipline showed by both teams. So I'm quite excited to see when RANDYS are pushed essentially onto their tertiary site, how they handle Delta Project. But also, how does Delta Project tackle the changes with what they experienced in that last round? So far, everything is pretty standard. Of course, that main wall is going to get opened up pretty quickly. It just depends how fast. Otherwise, no blood yet to be spilled.
No, and again, I do like the kind of patience Delta Project are taking with it. I think realistically, especially if it's like last round is anything to go by, their timing's pretty on point with it, and they're already, they've already got wall open, they've got garage open, they're starting to use. Oh, beautiful nade there by Shishka.
Ah, that is. Look, it's just going to be molding so much by that one. I mean, it's not anything. You can't. What? How does a Wamai get killed by that distance as well? Kitty, phenomenal grenades. Just like that, RANDYS have been dished a little bit of their own medicine, and it might just be about to get worse. Kitty follows up with a second for herself, and now Delta Project kind of get free pickings of how they approach us. They've got the wall open, they've got garage control, and they have a 3-person advantage.
100%. It's looking good. Like, realistically, I don't think they're gonna, this will fall apart at all. But again, it depends how much Kerrigan and Tribalin are gonna bring the thunder now. They're in a bit of an awkward position where they are both kind of in that, defaulted northern spot of this site, and that plant is being stuck and they have nothing in hand to prevent it. No plant denial whatsoever. Shishka's going to take them Killigan, so it's all left down to Tribalin now, and there we go. A flawless round, Novi. A flawless round.
Ooh. Delta Project certainly, maybe if they whiffed it slightly on the first round, and then the second one, they made sure that right hook landed. Straight to the chin of the RANDYS. We'll have to see if they can get up off the mat and back to it. opting straight again for the CCTV cash room. Interesting seeming how badly they got annihilated. Maybe they're going to move around the ADS and magnets. Just the fact that they lost 2 people, especially the Wamai as well. 2 frag grenades probably shouldn't happen. So they'll just cover their bases and mix that around a little. Maybe that helped. But the castle, interesting. The castle, sometimes we see it more for Jim, less so for CCTV and cash room, but for those extended site holds, it's certainly effective. And I guess they did give up a lot of map control quite quickly.
100%. I mean, I feel really happy for Delta Project with how that last round went, because I do think that not only in Athena but even CCSW, I think it's been a little bit of a rocky going for them so far. I really hope that they can continue showing up like they just did that last round. That last round was absolutely amazing. Like, genuinely, I think that was the Delta Project that we want to see, you know? I think that's the kind of thing that people do want to see, and I think certainly the fans want to, but I think, even most people, they're kind of like, oh yeah, that's what we expect them to be like.
I mean, they even showed a little bit in the first round with how they tried to salvage it, got the plant down. So lesser teams cannot do that. Oh, try might be looking to find something through that breach that opened up. Amy Lee also in the rafters, so a lot of garage presence. Usually we see maybe 1 player up in the rafters, 1 person in the garage steps as well. 2 people in rafters and 3 ADSs, probably some magnets as well. That is a lot of resources towards the garage. My question is Delta Project going to read that? Are they going to change their approach, or are they just going to try and burn through all that utility?
That is a good question. That is a very good question. I think they are going to try and go for the utility burn. I think they were quite sneaky with it last time. Ooh! Lua falling to a kitty once again, but Shishka has been downed herself. Can anyone pick her up? It looks like someone is actually going for the pickup, which is quite good. Panda here on the rappel. Just needs to manage to get themselves up to safety and try and go for the revive where they can. I don't think RANDYS are fully aware that Shishka was actually downed, else perhaps we would have seen a little bit more utility be kind of flung in that direction. That's an interesting point, actually. Speaking of utility, not really any C4s considering it's, cash EC.
Yeah, this certainly strays away from the meta, but I'm not sure that's for a good reason. Ooh, Amy Lee getting chunked out as well. Maggie also going low. I feel like when Shishka was downed, Lua went over to try and secure the kill, but Kitty was just by the garage door, just 180'd and shot Lua going a little too close for comfort. And that's kind of put them at a disadvantage, but they've done well to bring it back. But Kitty is on an absolute tear. 5 and 1 so far. Try is the top fragger for RANDYS, is going to try and keep it a level playing field. But Kitty gets a triple kill. And she is just making absolute mincemeat of RANDYS. They could be looking to get the lead already. Delta Project, 25 seconds. It's 1 versus 3. That audio cue must have been heard. Yeah, for sure. The spray is going down. Diffuser's being stuck. As you said, no C4 to deny this at all. The Legion has impacts, but it's not going to be enough. Kitty gets another kill. I think that's 7 for her in just a few rounds. It's incredible level of performance she's putting out.
Absolutely. Yeah, 100%. Kitty's a very, very strong player, though. I think so many times I've seen her just show absolute mastery of the game, both in terms of gun skill and utility use. Always really a really, really nice player to watch, to be honest. I will say on the side of RANDYS, I don't know quite what happened that last round again. I'm not sure whether maybe they kind of had a bit of a miscommunication there. Maybe some of them thought they were going to gym, something like that. That's the only way I can think of it, because again, I don't think realistically they would have made that kind of mistake of like only bringing 1 C4. So I do think maybe there was a bit of a miscommunication there. it is a tricky one, or even maybe they just forgot to 6-pick. Sometimes that happens. They have gone back downstairs though. I mean, they did have pretty, well, I wouldn't say pretty good luck. I mean, they did have to win in a post plan, which is kind of awkward, but they did manage to pull it in their favor. So it does make sense for them to go back here instead of trying to stick to gym or going to, well, I doubt anyone would go bar, but certainly gym. I like gym. You know what? I like gym. I think some people hate defending gym, but I think it's a good fight. Yes, it has its standardizations and it does have some awkward angles that you have to keep your eye on, but it's for your communication skills.
Yeah, I agree for sure. Slight adaptation on this site though. I think I believe Try originally was on Mozzie last time they played Church. Now they swapped Lure onto the Mute, which they didn't bring last time, and then Try has taken up the Aruni instead. So other than that, very similar lineup, does similar things, but I guess with the Mute you've got more area of denial that you can rely upon, as well as just in general Heartbreach denial as well in Dirt, and then of course the Church Wall just gives you a little more breathing room. Del's project though looking very top heavy fragging wise, but I don't think that's a problem. I think they're just, you know, Kitty and Shishko are just dominating so much, doesn't really leave anyone else in with a word in edgeways at the moment. So it'll be interesting to see how the other Delta project players essentially handle these gunfights. At the moment they haven't really been tested. It's only a couple of their members, but they are performing very, very well. Try's going to get forced off the angle on Moto, and that'll be the bar hatch open. And Miss Marie is going to get some more lines of sight through as well. And Delta Project in just half the round, Grace. Looks like they're setting up for an execute.
I mean, yeah. A lot speedier about it this time, and I think it's, again, going to look very strong considering the fact that they managed to get the plant down last time. No one has quite died yet either, so perhaps this is going to get to a point where they do actually go for that execute and they have more people available in that post plant to kind of fend off RANDYS a little bit more.
As a classic lineup over Church Wall with the C4, that is... and it got messed up. Lua, unfortunately, not quite able to get the angle off. It is a very, very tight one. Actually going to get smoked out a little, and now Church Wall's getting opened up. Drone's going to go in and spot her, so she's going to have to back off, get shot down in the back. Animus. It's the first on the Zofia, looking for more down the corridor. Maggie replies onto Shishka, so now it's an even playing field. Miss Marie is going to try and put a pin in that one. Maggie's also on an off ankle, but Kitty's just sticking the plant. I'm not sure they know it's going down. They must at this point in time. Maggie hasn't been taken down. Kurgan finds one. Maggie finds another. So it's a 3 versus 2 with a diffuser planted. It has to work the other way. The retake has to be in played. Kitty is going on another tear. Pandamus has the angle. Amy Lee just gets out in the nick of time. Goes for aggressive onto the Iana. But I don't think it's enough. 25 seconds. She's looking to try and get closer to the planted diffuser. Iana gets tagged. Kitty playing with fire around the corner. Is going to swing around the corner. Just goes prone in the middle of the corridor. Ooh. But it works.
I mean, it's again, so far Delta Project has having fair play. That's all I can say to it really, Novi, is just fair play, because again, they have had a bit of a rough time lately, and they seem to be really on it. And I want to just really point out, like, on the side of RANDYS, this is not a bad roster at all. Like, this is not a roster that should be struggling, in my opinion. Like, this really isn't. You've got players like Maggie, you've got players like Lua, you've got players like Amy Lee. These players should not be struggling. And there's just a few little mistakes happening here and there that is just a little bit unfortunate, but Delta are completely taking advantage of it. They're being so clean cut and precise right now, and they're getting this setup perfect. They're getting this collapse perfect, and the plant's going down every single time.
I also don't feel like RANDYS is adapting to what, especially with what they're showing now, to what Delta Project did. The first round, Delta Project went very slow to make sure they cleared everything. When they knew it was going back down to Church, They know Randy's isn't going to do some like wild roaming tricks or anything like that, so they can just run on in. They can just get that map control instantly, set up as fast as possible, and then start pushing you on the execute. Randy's did well in the gunfights. It just wasn't quite enough, and they've adapted a little bit by Maggie bringing in the Echo, but I don't think that's the issue here. Ideally, you need to force them to run down the clock, play slower, essentially force them to respect you more, and punish them when they don't. Because otherwise, you're just waiting until they get close enough to execute, and then you're relying on either whose strategy is best or who can hit heads better. There is one player, though, the Jaeger, on the top floor. Whether Curl can get spotted out is another matter. He is looking. And that barbed wire is certainly going to indicate, okay, they've made some changes. Let's see if it pays off for them.
100%. I mean, it is a bit of a sneaky positioning to make. We do see clear anyone that might be lurking around, so potentially gunfight incoming. Novi. I mean, the drone has spotted out Kerrigan very, very well there, so Panda is going to be ready and wait. Sending in a little bit of a concussion as well. Just... Oh, Kerrigan's going to take her down before she has a chance to do anything. Unfortunate.
Very unfortunate. Maybe a little too eager. No, there were teammates around who could have helped me find it.
Like, it's not just the fact that you're trying to find this one player, it's the amount of time that you've wasted and how much that can throw a spanner in the works at the same time. They're wasting time having to hunt out these roamers now, and again, okay, yes, they're starting to get this moto hatch open, but there's still going to be that fear in the back of their head that there's someone lurking around in the shadows.
Gotta be careful of those shadows. This is a... I mean, I've got to be honest, that's the I haven't quite seen a hatch opening like that before, with the legs just sort of like dangling over the edge. Like she's ready to drop down, but it worked, got out, only losing a fair chunk of health. Kitchen hatch is yet to open, so I'm wondering if they rotate the Mav or the Ace round to deal with that one. So again, it's going to be a moto drop into opening up the church wall. Frag grenades going out as well, applying pressure. Oh, I remember someone calling those the gremlin holes, where you punch in like different spots, but you don't know who's peeking out of what. Miss Marie goes big onto Lua. Dry Baton also goes down as well. Kogan might have replied, so it's a 3-on-3 as Maggie knifes. And ooh, before we know it, the defenders have just won the round.
Time is of the essence, as we often say, Novi. Time is the sixth defender. If you're not moving at a quick enough pace, Valley's going to bite you in the butt a little bit. Still very interesting, though, to see again, like Delta playing so strongly. They have really put the work in lately, and that is very, very, very obvious. And blimey O'Reilly. RANDYS, however, yet pulling it back even more, but at the same time, the last round of this half, and then Delta are going to go on to their defensive half, Novi, and that's a little bit risky biscuits right now for RANDYS.
I think 3-3 is manageable. It is possible for RANDYS to win 3 rounds on attack. It's difficult, but it's definitely possible. Winning 4? That's a tall task. It's just very, 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 very difficult. So RANDYS kind of they really need this round. Finally opting for the elusive gym bedroom site. We're both quite a fan of, so it's nice to see that one play. And the Mira, I seem to remember every single map. Mira and Flores, I think, were banned on every single one. I think it was those 2 operators. So nice to see the Spanish operator getting a bit of playtime.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, it's going to be a little bit of a disgusting use of utility. Again, you can kind of have that bathroom positioning where you are covering spar wall with that extra mirror window looking at it from the bathroom area. They've put another one into construction, I believe, which can be a little bit tricky to defend. Again, if that hatch gets open, sometimes people can just start throwing utility down. So if you are holding that kind of position, you can easily get naded out, but it depends on how Delta choose to approach that. And of course, we'll find out very, very quickly. So far, it looks like Shiska's just going to straight away open up this spar wall. There is a frost map being put down behind it, though. I'm wondering how much chaos that's going to cause, or whether or not we'll just see it get dealt with very, very quickly. Again, look at this mirror window, as expected.
All right. Interesting from Maggie. I guess it's, in case someone runs up and tries to place a breaching charge or something on it. Might catch them off guard. Also just takes the initiative a little bit. You can see Delta Project being cautious on that jacuzzi wall. Bring over more resources as well. They know that the mirror window is going to cause them issues. It always does. But there's the mute jammers. So how do we deal with that? Well, we can throw a grenade. Oh, but there's the Aruni Sharia Gate as well. And probably ADSs on top of that. Finally, they got it. There's a lot of utility expended just to get that open. But now that gives Delta Project sort of a foothold in which they can launch their offensive attack. Lua just had an angle. You saw Kitty. Please repeat that. That was just a single tap. I don't think it's going to happen. Drone getting thrown out, so her position should be known. Maybe it's best not to risk it. Of course, with that bomb being moved into that position in the small rework, it is better for the better for the defenders, but it's certainly looking way better for the attackers right now. Delta Project 2 versus 5, and the diffuser's going down.
Again, super clean. Kitty gonna take down the Cry Baton, and there we go, taking also down Amy Lee. A flawless round yet again to finish their attacking half. That was, again, Vonovi, so smooth, so clean cut, so just chef's kiss. Like, honestly, I cannot really say a bad thing about that at all. Like, I think Delta played that perfect, to be honest. Again, there was so much amazing teamwork, coordination, utility usage there to deal with the setup the Randys have brought to the table. And again, now I'm just slightly worried for Randys, because unless they have that same style of attack where they're being really clean cut and this could be a dub for Delta Project.
And on top of that clean style that Delta Project were showing, we have seen some cracks in the coordination of Randys. And for attacking, it purely requires more coordination. It's the nature of the beast. And that might cause a few problems. Delta Project going basement church first. So same as Randys. Opening up the same C4 throw over the wall on the back of church wall, so that's quite classic. There is a Legion in place that could potentially roam around. Same with Kitty, who's on the Jaeger, so trusting her to carry on the fragging performance that she's had, averaging over 2 kills per round. Certainly nothing shabby about that at all. A fantastic performance. But Randys just need to see more across the board. Amy Lee is having a bit of a mare so far. But that being said, she was amazing on the attack last week. So maybe it's just not feeling comfortable, not sitting quite well. And as we swap sides, we'll see the performances of all the players fluctuate slightly.
100%. I mean, it's kind of already going to be quite an interesting one for me, I think, just because some of the extra, utility that Delta have chosen to bring on their defense. A lot of very sweaty positioning, but at the same time, it's potentially a little bit risky depending on how they choose to attack this, because things like that shield as an example, yes, it's going to help you defend an approach from Moto, but what happens if people decide to put extra pressure on blue as an example? Your bum's exposed a little bit.
Little bit on show.
Little bit of buttage.
Maybe just, put it away for the time being. We'll have to see. There is that pressure going towards blue. The hatch being opened by Maggie. Shishka is buried in dirt. I'm not sure if we're going to see any aggression over towards there, actually. Oh, wait. No, never mind. It's already been opened. Flores is going to send in the explosive drone. I always want to call it an RCXD, but I know it's not that. It is, you know, the the kid in me wants to always say that every time I see it, because I think it's such a cool gadget as well, and it reminds me of that. But anyway, Ace opening the bar hatch, so pretty much all the main points of entry. I think Kitchen's been opened. I know Moto's been opened now, as well as Blue, and then Dirt as well. They've got pretty much 4 points of pressure, but Delta Project hasn't lost a single person. They have that, you know, small advantage. Well, quite significant advantage. But Randy's is gearing up for the execute.
And there we go. Maggie's going to start off by getting the pick onto Panda. Can they start making this collapse happen, though? There's not really much movement that I can tell thus far. I think Kitty's still going to hold this blue drop just in case. Shishka's going to retaliate with a little shotgun to the face for Lua, but Maggie is going to take down Miss Marie in retaliation. A 3 versus 3 Novi. With 30 seconds on the clock, Maggie's going to take down Kitty. Tribalance going to take down Mia. It's all left down to Shishka. And there we go. Maggie with another on the board. Maggie absolutely showing up this round and bringing her team to victory.
All right, we were worried about Randy's. Maybe we shouldn't be. that was a really nice round. I mean, they were behind there. They still adapted on the fly. They showed us what they could do, and they beat Delta Project on Church Arsenal, which is a very, very difficult site to attack by all means against any team. It's been a while since I've actually seen like a proper like blue push as well, sort of a blue dirt push. The one that always springs to mind is the Kavana classic: blow open the kitchen hatch, smoke in a circle, and then send one person to drop in with a diffuser and just plant in the midst of the smokes. Or we see, you know, what Randy's was doing, where Delta Project were doing with the main entrance. They're going that way. I feel like it's a lot rarer where we see a full-on commit towards blue, but it worked. Unfortunately for Kitty, just couldn't find the shots, went in for the reload, couldn't get out of that position, and it could have gone another way, but it didn't. And Randy's starting to close the gap. This is a really good sign.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, I think maybe, in my personal opinion, I do think some of this utility maybe needs a little bit of tweaks here and there. Or even if you start to, it's this idea really, isn't it? Like if you know where the push starts to come from, you can kind of sometimes adapt a little bit and move some of that utility about to kind of make things a bit more favorable for you. And I think I really like it when teams do that, and perhaps that's something that would have benefited that last round. But for the most part, I'm wondering if Randy's are going to go for the same kind of approach. They've already seemed to have got dirt open nice and early. And again, these hatches are probably going to get open very, very quickly. As there's not really any extension to this defensive hold either. Actually, I think there is actually someone upstairs. A lone player. Correct me if I'm wrong, though. Might just be seeing things. No, there is someone upstairs indeed. They have got down to the garage now. And have safely got back to blue and potentially sight.
Oh, but Kitty is going to go through bar and actually say hello to Randy. So that's 2 down already. The Mav being no longer available is going to prove quite significant for Randy, seeming the fact that Blue Hatch has not been opened. I'm not sure if Bar was as well. I don't think it is. So suddenly the Selma charges from Amy Lee suddenly a lot more valuable. And of course, they're way, way inefficient when it comes to hatches. So... just very, very punishing. Good find on the Flores as well. Just helps out a little bit. Now, Randy's, what do they do when they're behind, when they don't have all the tools that they need, and how do they try and react? At the moment, it feels like they're keeping it back to basics. They're going, let's open up a hatch, commit, stick as 3 people in a group. If someone gets too close, they might take one of us, but we'll be able to get the rest. It seems like they're going to send Sophia down to the main stairs and then probably drop for the hatch and just try and brute force their way through.
I mean, I get it. It's this time it's a little bit more tentative, but of course, because they've only got the 3 players on the board so far, there is a good reason for that. I do think maybe sometimes that there can be a little bit too much caution, though, especially when I'm not sure where these... Oh, no! Panda. taking out Tri-Baton and downing Kerrigan at the same time. It's all left down to Amy Lee here. And there we go. Miss Marie is going to send a C4 to finish her off. It's all left down to Amy Lee. They're very aware of her positioning because of those sprays from Moso Hatch. You can see there, Kitty actually getting a little bit bolshy with it and getting downed. But these smoke toxic babes are going to do a lot of damage. And there we go. Oh, dying to the toxic babe at the end of the round. But a flawless round nonetheless from Delta Project.
Was that from the C4 lineup over the church wall? Was that
the toxic babe?
No, the nitrocell. Was that over the wall from the church wall in the little gap opening at the top that they set up?
I imagine so.
So it's the fact that RANDYS prepped that themselves on their defensive side and then essentially lost a round from the same strategy. Something that should, I don't know, I know the time pressure's on and it's not a favorable situation. Should be read by RANDYS. They should have an idea that this is a possibility, this could happen. They've done the same thing as us. We know how this works. And now Delta Project finally get to play another site. They're going for CCTV cache. So no gym, favoring one of the more popular sites instead. Lineup-wise, in fact, pretty dead similar to what RANDYS was running, but RANDYS is opting for, I think, what's fast becoming a Doki special, the Thinker on Lure on attack. An operator we don't see that often, but is starting to get a little bit of popularity.
That's interesting. I'm wondering if that was more of a reaction to, players being downed, things like that. I'm wondering whether it's just for that pickup utility, whether it's going to be saved in pocket for things like that, or whether they're going to use the boost for more aggressive pushes, lack of recall, things like that. But I'm not gonna lie, sometimes when I see that kind of like yellow and mask, I assume lion, and then it's not the lion, it's the Thinker, and I'm like, oh, why not the lion if you're getting a bit spicy with it? But we'll see how Lua chooses to use this utility. He hasn't used any of it yet, so I am assuming it is actually being brought for when people are down, to be honest, Novi. A little pick-me-up, a little cup of coffee.
Little cup of coffee. Help the teammates out. Of course, Fink has those frag grenades as well, so that's 6 in total for the side of RANDYS. He certainly do a lot of damage. 2 have been used so far, but still 4 remaining. Amy Lee gets her first of the game, but what a time to strike. What a time to chime in with the rest of your team. And that's just taking down Kitty, the top fragger in the server. Certainly going to feel good. Boost the morale. See what they can do off the back of it. But, oh no, the Thinker boost does not help resurrect anybody if you're the one who goes down first.
No, and again, it's a little bit of a shame there that that utility is now taken away. Panda getting another one to try Baton, though Maggie is going to trade that onto Maya, but is immediately shut down by Shishka before she can cause any more chaos. A 2v3 is all left down to Amy Lee and Kerrigan to take on the ladies of Delta Project and try and make some form of push work. It's going to be very, very difficult for them. They do have a lot of time to work with, though. Perhaps if they try and isolate these defensive players, it might benefit them slightly. But it looks like they're going to try and stack up towards this breach wall. I don't know if that's maybe a little bit of a let's try and bait them to get a bit cheeky with it, or whether they're just going to kind of try and go for it, to be honest. It looks like Kerrigan actually might be going for a bit of a rotate here to construction. But Miss Marie was ready and waiting for it. SMG-11 in hand, going to take it down. It's all left down to Amy Lee now in a 1 versus 3. This is very, very unfortunate. This is the moment where perhaps you pull back to the tacky timeout, make the use of the 40 seconds you have. Do not let them crawl towards you like a bunch of kill goblins. And there we go. Miss Marie, once again, SMG-11 taking down Amy Lee there. That's unfortunate.
That dropping from the roof and then just getting SMG-11 essentially to the temple. Like, it was, you could probably reach through that window. That is that close. Just feels bad.
And we are indeed on match point, though, Novi. We are match point now.
We are.
And yeah, that is a a really good going for Delta. Again, I think that this was quite a nice matchup for them, but for one reason or another, Randy's just haven't brought the thunder I expected them to tonight. Again, some very, very, very strong and talented players on this team. Yeah, definitely think that they in their own right will know what's kind of gone on here. I mean, Maggie's absolutely showed up as well, to be honest. She's on 10 kills, and there were significant rounds where she just popped off, to be honest. But ultimately, Delta, they have put their good luck pants on, finally, and they are showing up and they're showing people why this is the Delta Project roster, why they are here, and they are here to bring the thunder. And, you know, this can be a little bit of a come get you some kind of thing towards the other teams, I'd say, to be honest.
Yeah, especially after Bank and just not looking their best at all. This is, you know, this is a statement. This is, okay, all right, we didn't show it, but this is us. This is Delta Project. This is what we do, you know, and we make it look quite easy. I think the thing that's most scary about them is, yeah, you know, Shishka, Kitty having very good games. It's not even the fragging potential of them. It's the coordination and shot calling decision making on this side is honestly scary. It's so clean, so quick. They get everyone on the same page, blindingly fast. Speaking of blindingly fast, Panamus finds that first frag onto Kurgan, and then this could be one of the final nails in the coffin for Randy's. Delta Project are already so early on looking to close out this map. Shishka might be adding another one to the tally.
100%. It's kind of interesting because, again, I think that obviously going to gym, and not a lot of people would want to go to gym. I think people do try and avoid it where they can. I love the fact that they're actually being able to close up this bathroom very aggressive peek as well. It's kind of like, okay, yeah, we'll go to a little bit of a cheeky side, but we'll also play it very, very passively, very, very defensively, and just be a little bit safer with it. I mean, it's obviously they've got the rounds ahead of them, so they can kind of go for something a bit more ballsy if they want to. So it's interesting to see them suddenly get defensive halfway through the round.
Those options. Maybe it's just they, you know, want to just, they're like, let's just do it. It's done. It's done. You know, I don't want to play this anymore. Let's not make any mistakes, not give any, you know, an inch to their opponent. But Try Batten just by the skin of their teeth gets out of there alive. But they can still mount an attack. There is time left on the board.
Absolutely, and Maggie's getting very aggressive around this gym doorway, and they do have the players dropping underneath, and they have the players, you know, around that doorway. And oh, Lua though! Oh, that could have been so bad, but she manages to take down Panda, and this is a very nice setup actually from Randy's. Again, setting nicely around this gym site to try and get that plant down and get, you know, keep in the game.
Okay, the plant has gone down. I thought it might just not go off. Miss Marie's going to find Amy Lee. Maggie's going to try and contest from the spray down through the door. She's actually the last one remaining. The time is in her favor. They're waiting for the Kitty to come up. Mia's actually just going to sprint round the corner, and Delta Project have it. It was an valiant effort actually by Randy's in the end there. You know, they did perform really, really well. It took a while for them to get there. There's mistakes here and there, which Delta Project just didn't have. And I think Delta Project were the cleaner team. They showed us a high level. And although Randy's had flashes of brilliance, they just couldn't match it. And unfortunately, they're our first loss today. But Delta Project get their first W, so that's got to feel good for them.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, again, you know, Randy's, they did take the L today, but at the same time, I think, you know, Maggie played that really, really well. The general gist of things was there. I just think that there were just a lot of mistakes there that I know these ladies are going to be kicking themselves over. Absolutely, they're going to be kicking themselves over it. But it favors them a bit more sometimes to be a bit more aggressive with these pushes sometimes. You know, every single time Maggie would get a little bit cheeky with it, she was just landing those shots and taking them a little bit off guard, and it was working really well for them. But Delta, I mean, what can I say? Like I have been again, it's no disrespect to them, but I have been concerned about the performances that they've kind of brought. It's like, yeah, it's been good, but it's not been quite what I expect of these players. And then this evening they've kind of showed up and they've been completely on form. And I'm like, ah, there we are. That's the Delta project that we know. These are these players playing how we know they play. And that's very, very exciting. And yeah, completely stoked for them that they managed to get that dub on the board. And we are actually going to go to a little quick interview with Shishka here from the Delta project. So let's welcome her to the show. Hello, Shishka.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Congratulations.
I don't think we've ever spoken before.
No, I don't think we have. Congratulations. You must be feeling amazing right now.
We did really well, and I'm so proud of each and every one of my girls. It was a really, really good game.
100%. I mean, I've literally just been saying, again, it's no disrespect at all. Like, I completely adore you ladies. I think you're amazing players, but I have been a little bit worried these last few months about, you know, not to put the pressure on you, but I expect a lot from you girls. And
I know
it hasn't been quite what I wanted. And then tonight you've just shown up, and it's been beautiful. It's been so clean, so precise. The utility use has been on point. The communication's obviously been on point. It's been so exciting.
Yeah, it was definitely 1,000 times better than the last week as well. We did have some issues last week, but I truly believe it's over, and we're just on our way to the big W.
Amazing.
Awesome. We saw Bank. I want to touch on Bank, right? Because it just got changed and then it got played last week. And now we got something a bit more, much to Grace's sort of disappointment. She likes the spicy maps. But so why Bank last week and now why something a bit more normal this week? What's the difference there? Why has that changed?
You know what? I feel like we've always been a team that we just decided on this day, let's go on this map. And I think that's what we decided with Bank, and we just wanted to go there and perform. It didn't really work out. We know what mistakes we made, and we're definitely not going to make them again.
Ooh, that's what I like to hear. I mean, is there any matchup that you are potentially looking forward to this tournament? Like, who would you like to play the most?
Honestly, everyone. Like, comparing to the first season of CCSW, where, no offense to everybody, but we did become the dominant team. This time, it's not this case. It's actually super, super cool to see so many teams that actually have a really, really good potential. So I don't think I have a single team that I'm looking forward to playing. I really want to play them all, and it's really exciting to see.
Amazing. Ooh. Very exciting stuff.
And so even though it's more competitive, I love asking this question. Who's going to win it?
I mean, us. Hello. what else do you want me to say? We have an org now. I signed a contract. I can't say anything else. We do feel confident, and we're steamrolling right now.
Yeah, I think if you keep playing how you did this evening, then I feel confident that certainly maybe a final situation, to be honest. I don't think that's too bold of me to say. Again, it was just really pleasant to see you all play at that kind of. Again, it sounds really bad. I'm like what I expect, but like it is like.
No, yeah, thank you. Like, I mean, that's honestly what I expect as well. You know, we've been a team since 2016, since the game basically started. So some of us have a chemistry from the beginning. We did pick up a few new players, and we made some changes. So we're still establishing the communication, everything, but we're really on a good path to what we want to become. So I'm really excited, and thank you for the words. That means the world to us.
Oh, no worries. Well, is there any closing messages you want to give to the fans at home or anything like that?
Yeah, thank you so much, everyone who supported us, either in 1.League or previous tournaments that we've played. You guys are amazing, and thank you to Delta Project. There you go, a little product placement. Thank you guys so much for believing in us as well, and I hope everybody has an amazing evening today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We do love it. We do love it when a plan comes together, don't we, Novi? We do love it when a plan comes together. I'm really happy for them. I'm glad that they managed to iron out these kinks that they were experiencing.